couple of things about reflection. There is thinking, and then there is reflecting. Thinking has to do with what's happening out there and how you need to manage it. Okay? In other words, you're fully involved in life. Life has you in its cradle. Okay? And in life, what is it that human beings want? We want power. Power gives us control over the unseen and unknown forces out there. Okay? So in thinking, you become a business-minded person. How do I do this? How do I do that? You know. For example, you write me an email saying, Amir, how can I get an A in this class? Okay. That email tells me you're not a reflective human being. You are 20. You're taking a philosophy class. You want to get an A? Wait till you're about 70. That's how you get an A in a philosophy class. You're a punk. You're a kid. You're 20. You have zero life experiences. I don't care if you feel deeply about things. It means nothing. They are raw. They're unrefined, unseasoned, uncooked. Okay? So, you look at your scores, it's 87, 87, 87, 87. And the truth is, you deserve an F. Everybody deserves an F in life. Every single human being. No one should pass any philosophy classes, or religious studies classes, or humanities classes. Because as a 20-year-old kid, 25, 30-year-old kid, you can't understand a 4,000-year tradition. It's impossible. There's too much stuff in it. And your life is far too busy. You're carrying 14 units. You have a job. You're taking care of your parents. How much of this 4,000 can you really understand? Nothing. And just because you can string words together? Okay. So, thinking. Reflection is an entirely different thing. Reflection is you are captured by a moment's honesty. Am I a drunk? Did I really need to spank my kids? Did I have to yell? Did I really have to send that email? Did I really have to spend my money, $50, like on French fries? Reflection is you take an experience that's out there, you take it inside you, and you're now beginning to examine a whole host of things. Why? When? What's wrong with me? Am I stupid? Don't I know the value of money? He's my father. He's 20, 30, 40 years my senior. How can I have written an essay about Plato? 5 pages. You put yourself on the cross. You don't need a Jesus Christ for that. Now, the problem with reflection is this. There is the experience, there is you. Initially, there is a marriage of you and experience. Okay? Then there comes a point where you say, I want to divorce the experience. I want to sit on the outside and examine the experience. You become like the rats, where you dissect yourself on the inside. You ask the whys and the hows and the whos. You really want to understand what made you do a certain thing. That is reflection. Reflection burdens you, creates guilt, creates shame, creates responsibility. That's not what thinking does. Thinking is a reaction to an outer circumstance. You want to govern it, manage it, own it. Reflection is a very, very different story. You, in some ways, I suppose if I was to make the language a bit romantic and creative, you humble yourself before the experience because you want to understand it. But to understand it, it can't be contaminated by emotions. You have to be able to look at it. And the truth is, you don't have the proper tools when you're 20 or 30. You know, what you can do is this. If you have a brother who is 5, and he screams and shouts, "Take me to Target because I want a toy." Now, you're 25. You have been 5. You know how toys are. You know what you have done to the toys. You know most of them were trash, if not all of them. They're a complete waste of time, complete waste of money. It's because you have passed those stages. Your kid brother is only 5. He's not there yet. And so what you're trying to do is you try to pull him out of being 5. Says, like, "Bob, look, do you see all the toys here? You broke all of them. What makes you think that the toy we get today is going to remain intact?" He says, "Oh no, I promise you, I'm not going to destroy it." And a 5-year-old has no idea what it means. First, to make a promise. Second, to keep a toy intact. You know, most of us, when we make promises without experience, "I'll be with you in sickness and death." Really? Yeah. "I love you." Oh, okay. "I'm very creative." Now, initially, as the sort of animals that we are, you experience, you feel. Emotions are your engagement with the experience. They consume you. You can't be reflective while you're feeling. It's impossible. Okay? Reflection, emotions, and thinking all together, the 3 of them, the Trinity, you need to be an extremely proficient human being. And no 20, 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old is. It's impossible. First, you feel. Feeling creates a certain desire. And you know how desires are. Some are indifferent, some are mild, and some are intense. You pursue them. Why the hell are you in this class? You're not even enrolled. Why are you here? It doesn't matter. You're here because you have a certain desire. That desire brought you to this class. And you're going to waste your time in this class till 8:30. Now, you may think that you understand the things I'm telling you. You can't. Not because you're stupid. Not because you're indifferent and you don't care. Not because you lack the intelligence. But you lack the most important component. You lack the proper experiences, and therefore you lack the proper tools. And though you may process some of our conversations, it'll be raw, limited, incomplete in many, 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 many ways. There is also another complexity, which is some people are feelers and some people are thinkers, introverts and extroverts. Extroverts have a tendency of being far more detached from life, which makes them more of a thinker and then more of a reflector. Okay? Introverts are feelers and they have various degrees of intensity. Let me give you an example. If you're a thinker, you become like a Moses. You feel, but you ultimately go back to your roots, which is, I am an extrovert. I think, I reflect. That means what? You go on this quest, okay? And then you look at your people and you say, they are oppressed. Now you become a social reformer. Okay? Then you may be like a Jesus Christ, a feeler. You go out there, you quest for whatever it is you want to find, you come back, and you're not reforming society. What you want to do, you want to overhaul the human being from within. You are a feeler. You don't invite people to go out, you invite people to go in. You will not find Moses telling you the kingdom of God is found within. The commandments of Moses, his teachings, always take care of people on the outside. The commandment of Jesus, forget the world, it's no good. Attend to the inner needs, the spiritual needs. Now, if you happen to be, again, really, really seasoned, you can have on your plate the ability to think, to feel, and to reflect. If you happen to be really, really good, you will add a fourth component. You will act. You will physically express things outwardly. And whatever it is that you express, they have feelings, they have reflection, and they have thoughts. Stoicism is not for us. Let me give you an example. Someone like Marcus Aurelius. Okay? He is a Roman emperor. He spends most of his days fighting, claiming more and more property. Okay? And perhaps he goes into the battlefield, parts of him is really happy because, the Roman Empire is going to expand. And parts of him are going to be very, very sad because he sees himself as a savage. And somehow he makes peace with the savage, the lion, and the lamb. It's not an easy thing to be Moses, to see the potential within the human being, and yet be okay with drowning the Egyptians. It's not an easy thing for someone like Jesus Christ to be so sensitive and open to people, and at the same time scream and shout and be cruel at them. Dislike, even hate the Jews in power, the rabbis, the Sadducees, the Pharisees, So, and I suppose you could just call human beings just an entity that lives in contradiction. That's how it is. Yeah. But you really, really need to be over the age of 60 to be able to understand things. A relatively healthy 60-year-old who's been engaged in feeling and thinking and reflecting. And like a nice honeybee, at the age of 60 or 70, they sit back, they vomit the experiences out, metaphorically speaking, and then they begin to analyze them. Put them in this grinder that outputs the value of all these experiences. But when you're 20, 30, 40, no, it's not possible.